Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. It is Friday, October 15th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I am live. Oh gosh, welcome to my group, my broadcast. I will be live for the next 3 hours. And I am here for coloring and companionship. So as I always tell everybody, hi Maddie, as I always tell everybody, even if you don't color, pop in, watch. You're welcome to join in on the chat. So I want to be here for you, and I'm looking forward to you being here in the group. All right. So welcome to my Facebook peeps who chat, and welcome to my Facebook peeps who lurk. Even if you lurk, say a quick hello, if you would. That would be great. And welcome to my YouTube peeps. So we've got a contest coming, or in progress, with Wanda. She's got her buds and butterflies. That's Wanda Fontenot. So get your piece. Maddie says, I feel like lurking and coloring tonight. Okay. That would be fun. So I'm so glad to see everybody. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get into. What about the contest, Maddie? This is Wanda's contest. She's doing a one on buds and butterflies. So get your submissions in, guys. Jean Waring put a beautiful piece in. Hello, hello, Rhonda. Yeah, next week. So I hope that you join in on Wanda's contest. Hi, Sandy. Good to see ya. Now, I think Wanda's book has been delayed on Amazon. She's got some formatting issues. But as soon as she gets her book in, I'll let everybody know. Maddie says this was a crazy busy week. Next week is better. Okay. Well, chat with us for a few minutes and let us know what's going on, and then go ahead and turn into a lurker. And I'd like to say hello to Jenny. Hi, Jenny. Jenny, you and Rhonda, we need to get some more of your colorings posted so we can see. Yeah, I can do Adam and Eve tonight. I've got it on the list. I'd be glad to do that. All right, let me adjust camera a little bit. So Jenny, Maddie says hi to you as well. So you've got lots of people saying hi to you. Okay, so let me work on this a little bit. Mythographic by Dream Garden. We really don't have too much more to do on this. All right. eraser is powered up again. And I'm just doing a little bit of cleanup here. Well, we always like to say hi to Jenny, so that's good. And as you said, you're going to be getting together with her tomorrow and go a few videos and coloring and all that fun stuff. Yeah, it does sound like the dentist. So I think Maddie's asking about Paula. Rhonda, how is Paula? Paula Wade. Okay, I'm just cleaning up a little bit. Thumbs up about Paula Wade. Okay, good. So Rhonda says good news, eating and drinking and keeping meds down. Excellent. We always like to hear good news like that. Okay, I have an emerald green here. This is my Fila 069. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. And even though this is probably concrete, I'm going to go ahead and color this area green. And I think that that'll make for an interesting piece. Alrighty. Rhonda says she's getting stronger. Hopefully I can talk to her tomorrow. Oh, that would be great. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put in a light shading of my color. So we'll start with that. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to darken underneath at the very bottom. So that gives us that dimension. Now, I want you to remember that the reason that we shade these colors and go in a little bit lighter is because if you're not sure about what you want to do, you want to go ahead and go with that slightly lighter color, and that keeps your options open. So in this case, I knew that I wanted to darken the bottom. And that's why I kept the rest of it a little bit lighter. There we go. So we've got a nice little bent on that here that even though it's concrete, it looks, you know, it looks like the grass. So that's cool. Okay. And remember that you want to keep that edge of your green jagged, okay? You don't want to just color straight across. All right. So now I'm going to go through, let's get that moon colored in, and I'm going to use combination of, we'll get some yellows and golds in there. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and clean that up a little bit. Well, Rhonda, would you talk to Paula tomorrow? If you do, please tell her that we've been asking about her, will you? Okay, so I've got to erase a little bit around my moon because with the normal movement around doing stuff, it got a little bit dingy. And then of course I'll just go ahead and fix that edge. So I'm going to start with my yellow, and this is a Blazing Yellow by Brett Funner 520. And then I'm going to pop in with a Warm Yellow by Shuttle Art, and that color is number 136. And that's an orangey color. Oh, good, Rhonda, that's great. She says, I will, and sent messages that we're all praying for her swift recovery and to get stronger. Okay. Yes, ma'am. So notice now how I have dispersed the orange. So we've got yellow, and then we've got a spot of orange, and we'll just bring that around a little bit. Okay. Hello, Melissa. And now I'm going to use my Cornflower Blue by Starjoy 074. And I'm just going to clean up this area here around my moon. So we'll get that nice and sharp. So Miss Melissa, tell us something fun. We found out that Melissa does not have MS, She's got instead a crushed spine in 3 areas, which of course we still wouldn't wish on everybody, but the point is that it is correctable. All right, so we've got that moon sharpened up here. Let me turn that. And that's looking pretty good. So Melissa says, I went to the gym today and worked out 9 minutes. Yes. And use the massage beds 3 times. You better believe it. Were you here, Melissa, the day that Wanda was talking about that she used one of the massage beds and it unfastened her brassiere and it had 4 clasps on it? That was pretty funny. All right, let's get this cleaned up here. Melissa says, no, that is funny. So you weren't here. I loved it. Seemed to help my back some. Yeah. All right, let me expand this a little bit. So I'm just doing a little cleanup here. So I'm uncovering this top part here. Well, I would still recommend that heated mattress pad. Like I said, I've got one. I love it. Absolutely love it. And my pets do too. Because when you're laying on it, your weight goes into it and you've got that heat that's on you. Okay. So these back buildings here, I don't want to go too much conventional color. I'm thinking probably a rose-ish color. Again, we've gone full boat fantasy with this. So this is my salmon pink. Oh, you said that you watched Jeff Haney today? It was good to see him. Oh yeah, he's a sweetie. So this is my salmon pink A113 by Arteza. Yeah, Jeff's got some neat things coming up. So I'm going to go, he's always a hoot to watch. He really is. His book is releasing in November. So yeah. Oh, and by the way, that reminds me, I'm going to try to get contact information for Facebook service, customer service, and see what can be done about this broadcasting issue. Some people are not knocked off, some people are. It may be the difference between watching on a computer and watching on a device. I don't know. So I'm going to I'll post an announcement in, excuse me, in the group. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you which one of you guys have problems and what device you're on. Okay, so I'm not going to go, I'm going not super dark. You guys know that I like to add that shading to pieces. This is why I don't come out gangbusters on being dark. So I'm going to go in between these little circle thingies. They're now called circle thingies. All right, and let's go ahead and let me see something here. I actually, on this piece here, I'm going to go, let's see what we got here. With a gray concrete. And this is my Brett Funner 083. And notice that I'm going ahead and darkening just a little bit on the shaded areas on here. And we'll go ahead and do that up here as well. Hi, hello Jean Himes, welcome. Jean, you don't have to apologize for being late. You're fine. You really are. I don't want stuff to stress you out like that. We're good. And then I'm going to go with a darker gray. This is my charcoal gray, Arteza 120. And we're going to go ahead and darken that top part here. So Jean, we don't do apologies here in the room. I don't want you to stress yourself out about if you're late or stuff's holding you up or whatever. I'm just glad you could make it. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add just a little bit on the edges, just to emphasize this, just a little bit. So guys, before you start getting your noses and your coloring tonight, tell me what you're working on, please, if anything. All right, so now I'm going to go on the very tip top, and I'm going to go back with my pink. Now, these are such teeny tiny areas. I'm going to go ahead and work with a light and a dark pink here. So I'm going to use a Baton Rouge Brett Funner 520. Maddie says she's sorting pencils and sharpening. Sandy's going to work on a Life Escape picture. Rhonda says she's working on Buds and Butterflies and Adam and Eve. I'll post tonight. Excellent. All right, so we've got the dome top done. And I want this to have a lattice feel to it. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and darken in my edges tonight here. So we shade around the edges a little bit, and I'm also going to add a little bit of shading around the end. Melissa says my mother-in-law bought me a book from Five Below, Kaleidoscope Animals, Coloring a Butterfly and Flowers. Oh, see, Wanda was influencing you, wasn't she? Butterflies and flowers. Oh, wee. Who else has projects you're working on tonight? Okay, little bit of black here. And I'm just going to go ahead and edge this up just a little bit. And notice now how that rim starts to pop out. Melissa says, yes, I have Wanda's page printed to work on too. I can't wait to get her book. Okay. Yeah, I think that Wanda is having some formatting issues. We'll have to, excuse me, ask her when she pops in. So she's a little delayed in getting that book uploaded. Okay, so I'm playing with this edge a little bit, darkening just a tad with my gray. All right, zoom out, zoom out. So we'll take a little look here. Now, this next step is going to be a little tricky. I want it to look like my clouds are coming through, just like I have the sky and the cloud coming through on the corner of this dome, okay? So I'm going to put in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. So I'm going to put in a little bit of gray. And the trick is you don't want to fill it in, okay? You want that to look like you've got cloud coming through. So I'm going to skip one there. And then I'm going to just darken this gray a little bit around the dome here just to give that added emphasis. Now don't fill in too much. Remember when I did the clouds and I whited them out for you to show you that technique. Zoom out. And I'm thinking that looks pretty cool. And then to soften the effect just a little bit more, I'm going to go ahead and use my Faber-Castell 103 Ivory. And I'm going to just rub that on there. There you go. And now I'm going to pick up my Baton Rouge again, which is my pinkish red. And we'll go ahead and we're going to shade around that concrete just a little bit. Depth, dimension, detail, guys. So we want these columns to stick out a little bit more. And that's what this does. We're going to hit those edges. And guys, I'll say this again, it's not what I'm coloring that you should be interested in, although I want you to be interested in, but I want you to see how I'm coloring it. So if this fantasy page doesn't float your boat, that's fine. All right, so I've got my edge here. All right. And then what I want you to notice is I'm going to darken in, zoom in very lightly in between my concrete holes, okay? So we're just gonna pull a little bit more color in here. Okay, check that out. Isn't that pretty? Zoom out. Now it looks wonky close up, but when you look at it the normal distance, viewing distance, it looks pretty cool. Zoom out. And don't forget to get your ends a little bit darker. And that's going to give that dome feeling. Okay? Cool beans. All right. Hold on, guys. I got to adjust something here. Give me a second. All right, done. Now, I know that some of this can be very tedious. One more adjustment, hold on. But if you get to the point where you're feeling that something is tedious, then you need to stop coloring on that particular piece. Go to something different. Coloring should never, ever, ever be a job. Okay. Zoom out. Now, let's get this tower and these floorboards done, and we're done with this piece. I've really enjoyed it. Zoom in. Zoom in. All right. So on this piece, I've been putting purple behind this lattice work because I want it to look like it's part of the sky. And that's part of the fantasy look. So I'm going ahead and working my purple in here. And again, this is my Cornflower Blue by Starjoy. And we're making that solid area disappear. Okay, so look at the effect here. Zoom out. So that tower now, the dome is in effect becoming part of the sky. And now what I'll do, I'm going to go ahead and carry my pinkish design through here. Okay. Now, one of the things that you need to consider when you're doing a piece like this is we've got fantasy colors going on here, obviously. So you want to be really careful about what you introduce and how many colors ultimately that you end up with. Zoom in. So I'm going to go ahead and carry this pinkish color through on my other, this other building here, this tower. I really don't want to add anything new to it. Now, pink may not be your color, and I get that. So, the takeaway from this is when you've got a fantasy piece like this and you're getting into different unusual colors, you just want to be careful about how many of those colors that you add. All right, so now I'm going to come in with my Faber-Castell 103 Ivory. We'll get a nice smooth area on this. All right, let me brush that. And I hope you can see, or you should be able to see, that as I'm coloring that in with the ivory, it's spreading this pinkish color and making some really nice, a really nice semi-swirly motif, patched a little patchy motif like you would expect on stucco. You know how a wall ages, parts of it start to get darker. So I'm going to take my pink and I'm going to go ahead and darken now around that window. And you can see how that's coming up. Zoom in. And notice how I'm coming down a little bit like this. See that? Just to add that little extra design on there. So in other words, you don't want to do mechanical coloring where you sit there and just, oh, window number 1, got to outline it, window number 2. No, you want to go ahead and work your color a little bit. All right, and let's brush that off. And while I'm here, I'm going to add just a hint of yellow in here. So somebody's probably home. So we'll just go ahead and put in a really light color. The lights are on, but nobody's home. Oh my. Rita from Guatemala. Hello, Rita. Zoom out. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back with my Baton Rouge color. Brett Funner. Rita, always good to see you. And I'm going to very lightly tone in a little bit of that pink on the outside, that darker pink. So you'll see that starting to develop here. And I'm going to go ahead and add just a little line of it up here. We'll keep the colors consistent. And be sure to grab your bottom part here too. Don't forget that. All right, and then I'm going to smooth that out with my Faber-Castell again. There you go. Hello, Maggie. Maggie is in the room. And guys, don't be afraid of your colors. When you're using different colors like this, that are different from what you would normally expect on a building, what people tend to do is they tend then to shy away from doing their normal shading and coloring. Don't do that. Okay. And now I'm going to go in with my Brett Funner Gray. That is the 083. And we'll get this cap done. Zoom in. Zoom in. And then I want to get this next concrete band done. And then I'm going to take a little bit of black and just tap it in on top of that color just to dirty up that concrete a little bit. Everybody see how I'm doing that? And I'm going to make my edges darker. I really should have said my ends. And then I'm going to hit it with my Faber-Castell Ivory, just to tone down that color a little bit. Okay. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. So I've got one more little section to do and we are done. What do you think? Definitely different. Oh, yeah. I'm stretching you guys. And like I said, these little floaty things that the author has on, I think I'm just going to leave them white. Oh, Moggy says that her little Allie had to have a COVID test today. Thankfully negative, but she tested positive for strep. Okay. We had a very long night and pray tonight is better. Oh. Did you tell Allie that we named a princess after her? She heard us doing that night. She was listening to the broadcast, didn't she? Okay. So this is where now I would clean up these little floaty pieces. Maggie says I did and she was so excited. I will print the final version if that's okay. Sure, please do. Okie dokie. Guys, one more quick section and we are done. All right, so I'm going to clean up this clothespin manually because we've got a lot of stuff around it. So I did different techniques on this. I hope you learned something on it. Whew. Let's see what we got here. Got a boomerang. And we've got our little walking cane. So like I said, at this point, I'm going to leave these little floaty things the way they are. I just don't care for them, but that's okay. I'm here to color the object. Some of you love these hidden things. And that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to show you. We're going to do some marble here. I want to make marble floor. Zoom in. Zoom in. Remove my camera just a little bit. Zoom in. So I'm going to take as a rarity my pencil and I'm going to add zoom in, zoom in. I'm going to add some lines here. And we're going to make this look like marble, okay? So notice how so I'm using pencil because I want that to show lightly. You know how normally I always tell you don't use pencil because the line doesn't go away? Well, that's what we want this time. Now, we need to be careful that we don't end up looking like wood. We don't want wood. All right. Everybody see how I did that? Maggie says, got a really cool birthday present. Color your own stickers, mandalas, and a presentation. To decorate book for my colorings. Oh, how neat. Love it. All right. So we've got the lines. Well, Maggie, be sure to show us that stuff when you post. All right, got a little bit of edge over here. Now, you'll have to decide what colors that you want to use for your marble. But the trick is here is you want to make sure that it doesn't look like wood. So I'm going to go ahead and take my flesh color. This is my PC 939. Zoom in. And notice how I'm coloring over the line and then I'm coloring next to it. So you want a fairly random pattern on your marble. And again, what I want you to notice that as I'm coloring over the pencil, that pencil is becoming a little more vivid, which is what I wanted. And I'm using it basically to create this pattern here. Anybody have any questions about that? Good night, Miss Melissa. Melissa, what movie are you going to watch tonight? Do you know? And you better get popcorn. And notice too how that pencil lines, those swirlies that I put in, are really making this marble look pretty cool. Rebecca said, I just got done watching Muppet Haunted Mansion with my kids. It was hilarious. Oh, yeah. Cool. Okay, and let me erase this little blooper here. Zoom out. Zoom out. So what do you think? Now I'm going to go in with a cloudy gray. Zoom in. Rebecca says, to be fair, I love all the Muppet movies. Oh, how cute. So I'm coming in and I'm tinting with a little bit of the gray. And notice with the gray that I am filling in some of the white areas, but not all. Maddie says, my fave Muppet movie is Scrooge. Rhonda says, never grow up. Whee! Zoom in. Zoom in. So now we can go ahead and tint a little bit of that gray on the edge, not too much, because you don't want to lose that random pattern. So everybody notice now how that pencil line is still there. And if you wanted to, you could even tint in with a little blue. The gray looks cool. But I think I'm happy with that, the way it is. And I'm just going to take my finger and I'm just going to soften that whole thing. Okay. And then I'm going to take my eraser, which I've conveniently, there it is, underneath my brush. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. I am calling this done. Zoom out. Questions, comments? Oh, I think I've got one more little tiny thing I want to do. Bear with me, sorry. Now, again, I know that this isn't to everybody's taste, but again, for the bazillionth time, that's not the point. The point is that you've seen all the different ways that I colored this for you. Let me see something. One more little touch, guys. Sorry, it's in me to do this. Okay, so I'm going to do my rhinestone stars. So I'm going to get out my good old Elmer's. And my toothpick, and I'm going to use purple and blue. So let me slap a couple of these on here for you. Zoom in. Zoom in. And remember that I always tell you, even though your rhinestones have sticky on the back, you don't want to depend on it 100%, okay? So let's go ahead and put some of these on here. Won't take me long at all. Summertime. All right. So some of you are having snow, aren't you? Out west. Anybody here? Ash, didn't you say that you were having snow? Here, have a cup of snow. And again, don't worry about that glue showing, although I do like to tidy up a little bit. That's just me. Oops. Little doobie right there. And then I'm going to pop in some blue. And the reason that I'm doing that, Rita says snow on our mountains, not in Santa Fe proper yet. Okay. Now I want you to notice how I'm mixing these colors. And again, I'm using the blue and the pinkish. So these are my larger. Maddie says it was 77 in New York today. Shorts weather. Yeah. It's 70 right now here in Cookeville. High 79, low 63. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and go with my smaller pieces here. Rebecca says it's 53 Fahrenheit here in Missouri. Maddie says we are down to 64. Yeah, it's 70 right now. Okay, sorry to yank you around here. All right, a few more spots here. Got one there, one there. And guys, don't forget to vary your size. You may put a teeny tiny rhinestone on there. Maggie says 70 here in Pflugerville. Did I pronounce that right, Maggie? Pfluger. Oh, does this look cool? Now, of course, if you want to put on extra little stars here or gemstones where they didn't necessarily indicate, of course, do that. But we don't want to overload here, because remember, every time you put on a an add-on like this, you are potentially distracting away, whoops, from your piece. Okay, and I'll be pulling out in a second because I want you to see this. It looks pretty cool. I'm just balancing my colors right now. too shabby. All right, and pull there. Now, I want you to notice something too, the star that I'm putting here right by this little salt shaker. Notice that I didn't put it in the middle of the open area. I'm putting it up near the top. And there's a lot to be said for that. If you do nothing but place stuff like this in quote-unquote expected areas, you're just going to have another routine coloring. So I moved this up to put it slightly where somebody wouldn't expect it. All right. Get a blue in there. Does everybody see that point that I'm making? Yes, no, maybe. When you jog things off a little bit, that's where you get a nice little design surprise for people. And I also want you to notice too that my colors for my stars are predominantly blue. I could have gone either way. I could have gone with the pink because we've got our pink buildings. That's why this works. All right, one more teeny tiny pink up here. All right, zoom out. Zoom out. There you go. I think I need a teeny tiny up here. And again, I want you to notice that I'm putting it a little off center. There we go. See that? Zoom out. I think that looks pretty good. And don't get fussy with it, because if you get fussy with it, that's where you start making, you'll overload with the decoration, or you get picky, and then you start criticizing yourself, so that doesn't work. So I think we're good. We are good. Now, I want you to notice on this particular piece that the whole coloring scheme is relatively subdued, right? I didn't go with anything wild on it. Well, I won't say wild. I just wanted this to be, oh, I got to do that fish eye. I'll do that later. You guys want me to do the fisheye? Oop. Let me put that. I better do it. You guys would be disappointed in me, I think, if I didn't do it. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. Okay, so I'm going to take my Prismacolor 939 Peach. It'll take me 2 seconds to do this. And then I'm going to take a black pen and color up the center of that because I want that black to be, I want that, excuse me, the eye to be a little bolder. And then I'm going to go ahead and take an emerald green by Faber-Castell, which is 163. And we're going to go ahead and make a greenish blue eye out of that. So notice that I am putting the green on different sides here and leaving some white in between. Zoom in. And then I'm going to take a Turkish blue Arteza Expert turquoise. Let me check something here real quick. Maggie says she's going to go have some birthday cake. Be back soon. Okay, Maggie. And I'm adding turquoise to this. And then I'm going to come in with one more green. It's a little darker green. And this is a Fila 046. And I just want to go ahead and add just that little extra tone of green in here. Now we're done. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. There you go. Now I'm calling this little puppy done. Questions or comments? Definitely different. All right, so I'm just going to clean up a little bit on my edges. Use my little gummy eraser. And the reason that you want to do this now is if you decide to add anything on the outside, you might want to use an alcohol marker to add a border. Excuse me. You want your area as clean as possible. Zoom out. There we go. So again, for anybody who's interested in doing this, and or the book, MYTHOGRAPHIC, and it's called Dream Garden, FABIANA, ATTANASIO, excuse me. All right, we're done. Let me close my case. Put that little puppy away. I will spray that later. And then we'll go ahead and initial it. Okay. Let's go ahead and work on some Adam and Eve here. Yeah, it's an unusual piece. I agree. So this is from Albrechet Durer. This is the coloring book that I got a while back. I did a walk through a while ago. Good old A and E. What's going on? What's A and E? Oh, Adam and Eve. I got it. I got it. Don't type it. Took me a second. You guys have been really enjoying this. You have commented on it quite a bit. And I'm really glad to hear that. See, we are a classy group. I'm telling you, we are a classy group. Rita said we're 55 right now in Santa Fe. Last night it dropped down to 30. So we'll see it getting cold here. Ooh, and of course it's coming this way. Let me tuck away a couple of these pencils here so I don't kick them around. So if you have this book, get it out and we will color. All right, so on this particular piece, this reminds me of kind of a birch tree type thing with all the different shading on it. Zoom in. And this is to remind you that grayscale is not an ugly word at all. I went ahead and did the apples the other day for you. Missed several of them, which you guys pointed out to me. Thank you. So I'm going to work on this center guy here and see what neat things we can do with it. Ooh, I like that color. There we go. All right. So my dark color is my Prismacolor. It's called Black Raspberry, PC 1095. Let me tell you in advance here. Medium color is my Brown Ochre, Starjoy 103. And my light color is called Butterscotch, Brett Funner, out of the 520 color set. Okay. So let's see what kind of trouble we can get into. Now, I don't want you guys getting fussy about matching my colors exactly. You can pick your own shades. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. Now, I like doing this tree because it is particularly well defined. Actually, I think I went a little further than I needed to. Hold on here. My bad. All right. A little hard to see here. There we go. Now, when you are putting down your colors for your dark, medium, and your light, I don't want you splotching them in. In other words, don't jab your pencil in. You color it, your color in your area, in this case my dark. We want to go ahead and give it some nice smooth edges. I don't want you coloring grayscale like you're doing a, oh, how do I want to describe this here? Like you're filling in a jigsaw puzzle and just jamming the piece in there. You want to artistically color it all the way up. And again, notice now that I've got my dark here. And I also want you to notice that in some cases, I'm taking in my dark just a little further than maybe what the artist put in. So it's a combination of following a roadmap here. And I don't want you to think that coloring grayscale is not being creative. It's not just filling in the colors at all. All right, let's get that. Maddie, Rhonda, are you following along here? Ooh, my pencil point just fell out. Okay. That's interesting. Look at that. Good old Prismacolor. Look at that. Okay, Maddie's following on the tree. Rhonda's following. Okay, good. All right, let's try that again. So when you're coloring grayscale like this, it's a combination. Grayscale is a guide. Now, it's an important guide, but this is not a lockstep, suspend your artistic input on this. So I'm working my way up our tree here. Let me pull down. Is my view too close, guys? Can you see okay? Let me double check something here. So Adam has a pretty robust arm here, and you're really going to see it. It's a little close. Zoom out. Zoom out. So don't make Adam's arm any thinner than you should. Yeah, guys, if a view is uncomfortable for you, please speak up. Because if I get involved in my coloring, I may not think to ask you. So you've got to say something. Okay. So now we're going to work our way up. And again, I want you to keep in mind that if you are coloring this as though it weren't grayscale, you could and should be doing this with your pencil. Okay, so we've got the shadow of Adam's arm on the tree. And I'm working around the back of the snake now. Now, when you're doing something like this, sometimes you're just poking in little pieces of color. So you may be literally dotting with your pencil. And that's fine, whatever gets that color in there. Now, Maddie says the dense dark forest was distinctly German. Exactly. It was style. And if you're coloring an area and you want to go ahead and add a little more, for example, in this case, dark to it, areas, that's your artistic judgment. And as you get more and more comfortable with grayscale, you'll find yourself doing stuff like that. Okay. Any questions or comments about what I'm doing so far? Now, I want you to notice up here, we're getting into more light and medium here, up here. So you want to back off on the darkness of your tree using your dark. However, having said that, I'm going to put just a little touch of dark color on the edge. Not much, just a bit of an outline. All right, let's take a look at this. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. Now, if you're coloring along with me, I don't want you to feel like you need to keep up. I may be going a little fast. Or faster than you, only because you're a little unsure. So I don't want you guys getting discouraged if you think you're having a problem keeping up with me. All right, give me one moment. I'm looking for something here. Let's see what we got. Just hold on. Let me double check. Thank you for your patience, guys. All right. All right, any questions or comments about how I'm doing this tree? So that's my dark. Now I'm going to go with my light. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. It might be a little close. Zoom out. Zoom out. So here are my light areas now. Now I want you to notice, and this is my butterscotch Brett Funner 520 set. And I picked this lighter color on purpose because I wanted that beech tree look. B-E-E-C-H. I'm talking about the trees where the bark peels. Maddie says we are rocking it. Take your time. And this is where, when we get our birch, thank you, Maddie. Birch, birch, birch. I am a dork sometimes. I am a dork today. Thank you. You guys make me look so good. Okay, now I've got a dark part of the tree that I totally missed. So let me go back here. This is my dark color, birch tree. And I want you to remember that when we get our medium color in here, all this is going to blend together beautifully, okay? There are beech trees too. Yeah, I think we're birch tree. It's the one that's got the stuff that peels off the side all the time. And you know how it peels in layers and then it makes the tree look really cool? That's a birch tree. Thank you, Maddie. Okay, back to my light. Now, I want you to think of this, putting this light on like this. You are also coloring your medium, because by coloring in your light areas, that's making your medium areas now come out. So it's like you're coloring that color as well. So think of it as almost in reverse, because whatever's left over here is what you're going to color in with medium. Now this tree looks pretty wonky right now, but trust me, it comes together. You've seen me do this with grayscale before, particularly on this particular piece. All right, and notice our light areas here highlighted. Albrechet Durer was very good at doing this type of thing, and I want you to pay attention to what is light and what is dark. He was a master at that, and that's why his stuff was so famous and is famous. So if you really want to learn about your highlighting and your shading, this is a really good piece. I've talked about that before. Okay. So remember DLM, excuse me, I got it backwards. DLM, dark, light, medium. D comes before L and M, so that's how I remember it. Did I color the snake's tail? No, because he wraps around right here. There's a teeny tiny spot of him right here. And then I colored in between. This whole thing actually might be his tail. Okay. Thank you for pointing that out, Sandra. We'll go ahead and call that part the tail. So we'll lighten that. I'll erase it. There we go. It's very hard to see. Okay. I'm sorry, Rita, what? Am I doing these below Adam's elbow? Oh. Yep. I took it to be a branch. Thank you, Sandra. Boo-boo. Okay. Thanks, guys. Okay, so back to this here. DLM, dark, light, medium. And D comes before L and M, and L comes before M, so that'll help you remember it. Okay. Now we've got quite a bit of the light tree here. And again, I want you to notice that I am coloring what? Horizontally, to keep in just with the context of what's going on here. Oop, I'm about to sneeze. Hold on. Excuse me. The front trees, I will do the lighter color. So this tree to the left, I'll do it basically the same way. And then my back trees are going to be darker. Excuse me. And I'll use darker shades of my colors. Zoom out. Now, sometimes when you're doing grayscale, you'll get to coloring and you'll have areas that are left, and you might accidentally color them the wrong color, because you'll start to look at this. Because right now, these are all mediums here, and you may accidentally look at them as darks. So you really do, and this over here looks like it's light, but it isn't. That's your medium color. So you need to work to keep track of what you colored what. Now I also want you to notice that right in this area here, this is my lighter color, but I'm going ahead and I'm highlighting it a little with my light color and making it just a shade darker. So still my light color, but shading it a little bit. And this is where I absolutely do not want you to go brain dead on grayscale. Grayscale is just as artistic as your line art drawing. So again, notice I'm going a little bit richer in some of the areas. And that's giving me a really pretty shading on it. All right. Now I'm going to get my medium color, and here's where the magic starts to happen. Zoom in. Zoom in. Now I want you to notice that we've got some shades of medium in here. So some of the medium is lighter, some of it's darker, a little darker, but it's all in the medium range. So now I'm going to go through, and this is where I'm going to starting to blend my colors. And see, guys, this is why grayscale isn't hard. You're just learning a different set of skills, that's all. So notice now how I'm blending my areas into both my previous light color and my dark that I put down. And don't jam your pencil in here. You want the stroke of your pencil to create the shade that you want. Now, near my root system here, in this area we've got a lot of light and our medium. So I want you to notice how I'm blending in my medium with my light. Isn't that gorgeous? And don't worry about going over the previous colors that you put down with your pencil. For the most part, I will be somewhat careful about not doing that up to the point that I need to blend my colors together. So I will start out putting my medium blank colors in, and then I'll work on blending them with the light and the dark that are already there. Oh, isn't that pretty? Remember, guys, the colored pencils are basically translucent, meaning when you put one color down and you go back over it with another color, that first color that you put down stays put. The characteristics of it are there. Okay, I want you to watch in this area right here where I've got the dark and the light. So now I'm popping in my medium. I'm going to blend over my dark just a little bit, just to pick up any spots here that were missed. And notice with my medium pencil, Rhonda, check your oranges. Get a or gold color as well. You can do a nice gold. So everybody see now how I'm blending these colors now? And my original colors are not going away. They're merging together now. And this is where they're coming out beautifully. Rhonda, look in your golds, orange golds. And I also want to remind you that I'm not shoving the pencil into the paper, right? Oh man, this is coming out beautifully. Gosh darn, that looks beautiful. Now, if you want to go ahead and darken in, I've got my medium here, and darken in a little bit on your edge. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? You can go ahead and do that. Hold on, I got something underneath. It's amazing how the smallest little piece can make a divot. So I'm taking my medium and I'm edging my tree with it. Okay. And let's see if I can manage to not color the snake this time. Oh man, thanks for your help, guys. I just zipped right by that. Zoom out. All right, let's take a look. Zoom out. Zoom out. Now, I also missed a little bit when I did Adam's arm, is I didn't quite get out to the edges here. There we go. We'll get that. All right, much better. Yeah, and it is hard to see sometimes. Okay, so let's work up here. Zoom in. Zoom in. Rhonda, did you find a color for your light? So the takeaway that I want you guys to have is this. When you come in to blend with your medium color, and you go over your areas that you previously colored in your light and your dark, that's where your blending is taking place. And when you blend all these with your, okay, yes, but already use something else, went over it with the correct color as best as possible. Okay, yeah. Artistic choice, Rhonda. So notice now that I'm using my medium pencil to blend in my light and my dark. All right, let's, up. Hold on, hold on. We'll get you there. All right, and let's move up. I want you to think of your medium pencil as a blender. So not only are you adding your medium color, but you're going ahead and blending your other colors with it. Now, sometimes you don't want to go over completely. So in other words, I'm completely going over my medium color with this. You may not want to do that because of the way, whatever the subject matter is of the piece. Your judgment. You may just want to do the area of the medium. Now you've still got to blend your edges, of course. Oh, how pretty. Zoom out. A little bit of a white spot here. It's amazing now how white sticks out like a sore thumb. Zoom out. And Sandy says, sometimes I blend the dark and medium with a light pencil. Perfectly fine, Sandy. Okay. Let me grab some water. Now, my dark pencil down here is a little more harsh than what I would like to see. So I'm going to take my medium and I'm going to blend that and soften it up. Now, Sandy, when you do your coloring, Rebecca says, well, friends, it's that time. I'm going to go watch Star Trek and cuddle with my hubby. Okay. What version of Star Trek are you watching? There's so many franchises of it. So notice now how I'm knocking out the harshness of that darker pencil. So Sandy, what I was going to say is be careful that you don't, when you blend with your light pencil, be careful that you don't lose your subtle shades. Oh, Rebecca says tonight we were watching Enterprise with Scott Bakula. I never got into that franchise. I like Star Trek. Is Scott Bakula a good actor for that stuff? Okay, now notice down here that this dark looks harsh. And I'm specifically using my medium because I don't want to wipe out too much of that dark. Okay, Amy, see you later. And this, guys, is where your magic of your blending is gonna come to play. And I want you to see how beautifully. Rhonda says, I don't know about you, but Adam's right lower leg bothers me. This one here. So dirty looking. Okay. I'll revisit it. Okay, Rebecca, take care. So, Rhonda, are you saying that it's dirty looking on mine or on yours? Okay, so we've got a pretty good, vibrant looking tree here. Oh, on both. Okay. Now, sometimes when you want to diminish a color or diminish spots, like I do on the dark, what you want to do here is take your dark pencil and color over them. In other words, you just didn't get them blended correctly. And by doing some more from the knee down, it's shading. We'll take a look at it when we get the other colors in. So just smooth out those dark areas so that they're not as spotty. And that just comes from tweaking here. Okay. So let's work on that tree next to Adam. Yeah, Rhonda, I'm not going to do any coloring on Adam yet until I get other parts of this done. And sometimes that'll happen, that you'll be working on a piece and something will look wonky, but you've got to keep going with it, because in the end it should work out. So my point is, don't do any correction on the bottom part of Adam's legs until we see how the rest of this goes. All right. Zoom in. So let's go ahead and get our area now on this branch where our snake is hanging out. Rhonda, does that make sense what I'm saying? And see, that's what people do sometimes, is they'll correct an area that they think looks wrong, but you've got to wait until you've done the rest of it. Hello, Wanda. All right, let's get these little areas done here. Now this tree, this branch here is going off this tree in the back, so I'm not going to touch it yet. So there's my dark. So let's go back down, zoom in, zoom in. So Wanda, what's going on with your book in Amazon? Where there's some formatting issues? Okay, so now we've got the light. Zoom in. And we'll get our little teeny tiny branches up here. And then I'm going to grab my medium. Okay, so Wanda says yes, just some dimensions that needed adjusting. I resubmitted last night. Excellent. Okay. And now I've got my medium, and notice now that I'm blending. And what I'd like you to see, oh, of course the first time is a learning experience. You're doing just fine. I'm sure there are people that have to submit 3 and resubmit 3 and 4 times. You're a smart lady. You'll be just fine. And like I said, as soon as I see it on Amazon, I will post in the group. Okay. So let's work our way up our tree. Get our little teeny tiny areas. I'll have to send Albrechet Durer an email complaining about the teeny tiny areas. All right, authors, color your own pieces. It's the bleed and trim lines that I had to deal with. Okay. Now, you know I'm kidding about the email, right? I know this guy's dead. Oh, check out how pretty that is. Zoom out. Zoom out. Look how cool that looks, guys. Anybody have any questions or comments? Grayscale is not hard. Okay. So let me go down here and let's work on the branch that Adam is holding. Just because. Because. Zoom in. Now, I don't want you guys to get super picky when you're doing your grayscale. I want you to be careful, but I don't want you to get ridiculously picky. And by that I mean, when you do something, it shouldn't take an hour to do one little segment, okay? Now, the reason it takes me longer is because I'm teaching you. But you'll see how I do this tree branch and how promptly I'm going to be ending up doing it. So here's my dark. And here's my light. And here is my medium. And notice how my medium becomes my blending tool. So don't fixate on this. Just learn the technique and do a good job. Okay. So I did my dark. Here's my light. And here's my medium. Boom, done. All right. Oh, let's see what we got here. All right, so we've got our dark here. And that dark, if I'm looking at this correctly, okay, there's the edge right there. And that ends. All right. A little bit of light here, relatively speaking. And then the rest of it's my medium. Zoom in. So Rhonda, that means that your book could be up, let's see, next 72, 48, 2 days, 3 days, Friday, Saturday. It could be up by Monday at the latest. Okay, so let's zip down this tree. And what I would like you to do as I'm doing this is just talk it through in your mind how I'm doing this. So here's my dark right now. And again, with your dark colors, you want to come in softly. Don't come in gangbusters, guys. Because remember, you've got to blend in those darks. Wanda, when did you find out about the trimming problems? Okay. Oops, got a little on Adam's leg there. We don't need that. My boopsie, oopsie. I was trying to say boo-boo and oopsie at the same time, and it came out boobsy. There goes the G rating of our program. Okay, so watch what I'm doing here. So you're thinking it was yesterday morning, Wanda, that they told you? Okay. Okay, there's your dark. Zoom out. Zoom out. Now, doing grayscale like this is an interesting study in itself because look at all the shade areas on this tree. It's just fun to look at. And I am brain dead. Hold on. Try to color a medium area with my light pencil. Zoom in. So Wanda says some of their notes were a little confusing, so we will see if it works this time. You made some changes. Okay. Maddie says that this is fun to look at. Albrechet Durer in himself is a very, very interesting artist to study from the standpoint of his use of light and dark. So if you want to get some artistic training in your noggin, this is a good project to look at. The other neat thing is it trains your eye to look at the differences in the coloring. And as Maddie said, he is also big on symbolism. Yupper. Guys, if you're enjoying this image by Albrechet Durer, look him up on Google. Just read a little bit about him and his style. So here's my light coloring. All right. And we're going to have a little bit of light down here. Not much. Each animal represents a certain characteristic: melancholic, phlegmatic, sanguine, and choleric. I'm probably killing the next pronunciation. Some characteristics he attributes to the four apostles. Apostles, yeah. Oh, Maddie, that is so neat. Thank you for that background. Look up the, do a Google search and just say, what is the symbolism behind Albrechet Durer's Adam and Eve? Thank you so much, Maddie, for that explanation. Okay. So very lightly, the darkest areas in the bottom of our tree that come out. And I am holding the pencil near the end, guys, not near the tip. If you have a particularly dark pencil in your DLM format, your dark, medium, and light, you want to go ahead and hold it by the end, not near the tip. Maddie, yes, I believe you're correct. The goat means something, but I forgot to write it down. I think he represents evil. I'm pretty sure that's it. Okay. So now I've got my medium color in here, which is also my blending tool. Yeah, Maddie, I'm just about certain that you're right about the goat. Now I'm going to go a little heavier on my medium pencil right near this edge. Artistic choice on my part. And I also want you to notice that in some areas I'm bringing my medium pencil over my light, and that adds another color as well. So right here I've got the light of the light color, and then I'm using my medium and going over part of it on the edges, not all of it. And that makes for an interesting use of the colors. Yeah, the bull's in the right-hand corner, and then way up in the right-hand part, right hand of the image is a goat on a hill. We need to do a Google search on this image and say, what is the symbolism in Albrechet Durer's Adam and Eve? I may just do that when I go off air, because now I'm really curious. Okay, now notice, very important, horizontal lines when I'm using my medium color, except on the very edge here. And I want you to see that really neat horizontal look on the bark of the tree is coming through beautifully. Okay, so we've got that. Okay, so there's the tree there. And this is where also circle blending works out beautifully. And then I want to pop into the very bottom here. So hang with me while I'm finishing this up, because it's coming out beautifully. Sandy, I want you to concentrate on your dark, medium, and light colorings when you do grayscale. Maggie says it is a reference to the scapegoat of the Bible, according to a write-up about the artist and this painting. Oh, Maggie, thank you so much for looking that up. So it's a reference to Judas, right? Oh, guys, look how beautifully this tree's coming out now. Maddie says, I looked it up. Traditionally, the goat symbolizes unbelief and lust, and it is perched on the edge, ready to jump when they bite the apple. Oh, excellent. Okay, so I want you guys to look at this. Up in the right-hand corner is that teeny tiny goat here on the edge, on the precipice. How interesting is that? Thank you so much, guys, for taking the time to look this up. Okay, so what I want you to notice is down the middle of the tree and this edge is the pure light pencil. And then, Maggie, would you do me a favor and text me that article? Just copy the link and text it to me. I'd like to read it. So I've got the very light, original light of the light, medium, dark here. And then this is where I took my medium pencil and went over some of the edges of the light, and that made that really stand out. And then we've got all of our dark areas. Yeah, no, Maggie, yeah, don't post it in the group, please, because people may not understand the reference. But what I may do is go ahead and after I read it, is I may go ahead and post it when I talk about the coloring that I did. Because you know, every night that I post an image of what I've colored the night before. And would you also do me a favor and send that article to Rhonda and Maddie? You're a doll, Maggie. Thank you. Okay, now hang with me, guys, because I'm at quitting time, but I want you to see this. Okay, zoom out. Zoom out. Oh, Maggie, thank you. You're a doll. Zoom out. Zoom out. What do you think? Now, again, these trees right now look like they're sticking out like a sore thumb, because they are. But when we go ahead and we start coloring our other images, it's going to look absolutely gorgeous. Okay, Maggie, I will send it to me, and I will send it to Rhonda and to Maddie. All you have to do is go into the IM of Facebook and start typing in their names. Yeah, let me do it, sweetie. I'll get it to him. So just send it to me. Okay, so this is my, let's see something here. This is my medium pencil, and this is where you would go ahead and you can start now blending in and taking care of any of those areas that you just want to touch up a little bit. And I want you to see now how, when I'm doing this, how soft this is starting to look. But I also want you to see, I don't want to lose my stripes right here. Zoom in. Zoom in. I don't want to lose my stripes right here because I want that look. So when I do any blending coloring, I'm going to call this blending coloring. I'm going to concentrate on my medium and my dark area. And if I do this here, I'm just going to make sure that I keep my stripes intact, because that's the look that I specifically want on the tree. Okay, zoom out. Drop dead gorgeous, guys. Isn't that beautiful? Let me change my camera angle just a little bit. And I think it's turning out well. Now, if you're not a religious person, that's fine. I'm coloring this because I want you to see the technique. If you are Christian, enjoy it and enjoy the history behind it. And again, these trees are looking wonky right now because they're colored and sticking out like a sore thumb. But when we go ahead and start working on these other images, it'll look really great. Okay, guys, I hope you learned something. I'm having too much fun with this. Oh, I want to show you something really quick. Don't go yet. Is on this coloring here, I want you to notice I went ahead and put a mole on her face. On Ava's, no, this is not Ava, excuse me. On my Victorian lady. So she's got a mole on her face now. I thought that would look really cool. So even though I'm chuckling about it, these are the types of things that you can do with your pieces. Okay, guys, this is ILene Vick for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. Guys, joyous, joyous coloring. It's such a blessing to have you all here. Guys, please share this broadcast. Let's get some people in here. Just because they don't color, they can enjoy the companionship. Coloring and companionship, okay? Take care. I hope you learned something about drawing trees. That was fun doing that for you. And it turned out well. Take care. Love on each other. Don't forget to send Paula a little note that you're thinking of her. And I will see you tomorrow night. Same time, same place. Guys, bye. Take care. Bye-bye. Like the airline stewardess. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right, guys. Take care.